Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is parts of brain. Our brain is very vital organ. It's a very vital part of our body as it's control all the activities of our body. So brain has different convolutions, is a complex structure. But when we start our life, it was very simple. It was very simple. When we start our life in the mother womb, the structure of brain was very simple. It's a hollow tube was there, and that tube is called the neural tube, and that structure actually found in at the 3 week stage. And these are the two diagrams I am showing here. This is for the 3 weeks and that is for the 5 weeks. So this is the primary structure of our brain that we started when we started our journey, when we started our life in the mother womb. So this tube is called the neural tube. Neural tube. Then after gestation period, at the gestation period at 5 weeks, that part changes to form these 5 parts. It have different parts. These are called the vesicles. So there are 5 vesicular structure form, and then it continue its development, and then it develops to form that kind of structure, and then this is the massive structure. Okay, now we have to come in detail. All these 3 parts, brain, brainstem and spinal cord, all are in this tube for 3 weeks. But when all these aspects, it begin to swell up. At these 5 weeks, it swell up and form this type of structure. When these tubular structures swell up to form this, the topmost part is called the telencephalon. This topmost part called telencephalon. Here encephalon means the brain. Okay, the first part, the name in this name, the first part very important, but the second suffix is similar for all these vesicles, but the first part is very important. Here telencephalon, that is the tail, that terminal portion, the tail portion, that is telencephalon. Okay, now this telencephalon continually develops to form this structure and then this massive structure. So this massive structure is the cerebrum. So telencephalon forms the cerebrum. Telencephalon forms the cerebrum. This is cerebrum. Cerebrum at the anterior view, at the front, if we see the part from the front side, that it has a two hemispheres. Okay, right hemispheres and left hemisphere. The two hemisphere. So cerebrum has two I am magnifying this image here. This is cerebrum. Okay. Now, this is the side view, lateral view, and here is the front view, anterior view. So here is a fissure that it divides the two hemisphere, that is called the longitudinal fissure. Okay, here the two hemisphere, the right part control the left one, and the left hemisphere control the activity of the right side. So whatever we are doing from our right side, all the activities are controlled by the left hemisphere, and our right hemisphere controls the all activity of the right hemisphere. Okay, they are crossed, uh, control the activities in crossed. Here the outer part of the cerebrum, it is 1.5 millimeter in thickness. This is called the cortex. This outer part of the hemisphere is called the cortex. Okay, and is also called cerebrocortex. Cerebrocortex. And it has lobes. Cerebrocortex is the site of consciousness. Okay. If you are conscious for anything, that is, suppose I am now delivering my lectures, all the informations, because you are conscious and you are getting all the information, and all goes to this cerebral cortex. So this is the site of consciousness. Now the cerebrum is divided into lobes. This is the frontal lobe. This is parietal. This one occipital, and this one temporal. So these are lobes. There are another lobe also. I am telling few minutes later. So this is the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital, and temporal. Okay. Frontal lobe is called the motor cortex. It is called the motor cortex. Consciousness is initiated here. All the consciousness initiated from this part. Suppose you are doing something very consciously. You are drawing something. You are writing something very seriously. All the consciousness coming, the sensation of that consciousness. You are writing some story and you are performing very graceful dance. So all these consciousness, all the conscious activity is coming from the sensation, all the sensation coming from this motor cortex. Okay, and this motor cortex is situated in the frontal lobe. So it is the higher integration consciousness. It controls the complex behavior. Okay, so motor cortex, you can also say that it's a higher integration higher integration of consciousness, and it controls complex behavior. Okay. Now come to the parietal lobe. Parietal lobe is that all the stimulus or all those impulse, it is actually called, parietal lobe is actually called the sensory cortex. Sensory cortex. Parietal lobe is called sensory cortex. All the sensory impulse, that impulse maybe come from the inner side of our body, maybe from the different autonomous organs are there, heart, lungs, maybe stimulus come from this inner side and from the outer environment also. Suppose you touch any hot object, so these are some, you are feeling very cold, you are feeling very hot, so these are some external outer environment gives you the impulse, and that sensory impulse actually comes to this sensory cortex, that is at the parietal part of the cerebrum. Okay. Now next there is the occipital. Occipital is related to vision. Next there is a temporal. Temporal is related to hear. And if we lift up the temporal part, okay, then there is another lobe that is called the insula. It is related to taste. Insula is located at the beneath of the temporal part. So these are the lobes we can found in the cerebrum. Okay. Now one thing I have to mention here. At the deepermost part of the cerebrum, here we can find the part of the basal ganglia. What can we find? We can find the basal ganglia and limbic system. Basal ganglia and limbic system. These are the two things we can find at the deeper part of the cerebrum. Okay, some part of the basal ganglia, some part of the limbic system, not all part of the whole part of the basal ganglia limbic system we can find here, but the part of them we can find here, and the other parts we can find in the other vesicles for the next part. Okay. So what is the function of basal ganglia? Basal ganglia, it controls the smooth motor activity. It controls the smooth motor activity. It controls the smooth motor activity. Okay. That means someone is walking very smoothly. So that is actually, its basal ganglia is okay. But if there is any problem, any disease there for the basal ganglia, then that person will feel hard to move his body parts. And if the basal ganglia is diminished or absent, so for that session, for that case where the basal ganglia is absent, people feel hard to initiate movement. Okay, so they have a resting trauma. Next, what is the limbic system? Importance of limbic system? It is actually related to emotion. So basal ganglia, it is important for smooth motor activity, and limbic system, it is important for the emotion. Okay, now come to the next part. Now after the telencephalon, there is a diencephalon. This part is called diencephalon. Dien means two. Here is the part. So this is the diencephalon. These two part. Diencephalon has two parts, that one is thalamus, another is hypothalamus. It has two parts, thalamus and hypothalamus. So here in this picture, this is the side view, lateral view. So I match that all parts by same color, so you can relate my diagram. These are diencephalon. This is these are the, yes, this is diencephalon, but the one is thalamus, another hypothalamus. They are actually embedded within the cerebrum. That's why they are present in the embedded part at the inner side. So as it is the showing from the side view is a lateral view, so we can find in this way. We can find the thalamus here. This is thalamus. Thalamus. Okay. Beneath the thalamus, there is a protrusion. That protrusion is called the hypothalamus. Hypo means beneath, beneath. That's why it's called the hypothalamus. Okay. So thalamus and hypothalamus. What is the function of thalamus? Thalamus is actually act as a relay center, or we can say it's shorting center. Shorting. All the sensory activities come first to the thalamus, and the thalamus thinks that from where the information come and where I have to send that information. So that thalamus actually short out the information. If it think that this is a sensory information, then we have to send this to the cerebral, to the parietal portion. If it is a motor action, then you have to send it to the frontal part. So this thalamus play a very vital role here. It short out the impulse. What it actually get from the body, it short out the impulse, and then he put that signal in its right place. So thalamus is called the relay center or shorting center Okay. Now what is the function of hypothalamus? Hypothalamus is called the master regulator of endocrine system, and autonomous nervous system. We know that pituitary gland is located here at the hypothalamus. So pituitary, called the master gland, it controls the activity of a wide range of glands. Adrenal glands, the sexual glands like testes, ovary. Okay, so all the activity of all glands are controlled by the pituitary. That location is at the hypothalamus. And autonomous nervous system, which is actually two types, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The activity of all these nervous system also controlled by the hypothalamus. Okay. Now, After the diencephalon, we are just talking about the diencephalon. With thalamus and hypothalamus comes under the diencephalon. Now there is a next part, that is it is mesencephalon. Cephalon is same for all the names, is meaning brain. But meson means at the median portion, in between, mid brain. Okay. After the mesencephalon, there is a metencephalon. This is metencephalon. Okay. Metencephalon is divided into two parts, that is pons and cerebellum. Pons and cerebellum. And after that, there is a myelencephalon. Myelencephalon. These three, mesencephalon, metencephalon and myelencephalon, these three form the brain stem. I have another video on particularly on brain stem. I discussed all the activities, all the functions of the brain stem there. So I am not coming in detail with the brainstem here in this video. Okay, so this is mesencephalon, midbrain, and metencephalon. Metencephalon is divided into pons and cerebellum. So what is the function of cerebellum? Importance of cerebellum. Cerebellum, the green part. Okay, this green part is the cerebellum. It is at the behind the cerebrum, located behind the cerebrum. Okay, so this is the cerebellum. This is cerebellum. Its main function is maintain our balance, body balance, coordination, body balance and coordination. The main function is balance and coordination. Suppose, for example, my friend tell me that you have to lift up a weight bag which is in front of me. But when I go to lift up that bag, its bag was empty. So my brain at that time think that you have to coordinate with that situation. Before lifting up the bag, I think that the bag is very heavy in weight. But when I touch the bag and try to lift it up, I think that is a lightweight. So our body coordinate that situation, that actually controlled by, maintained by the cerebellum. So it has two functions. One is balance, another one is coordination. After the metencephalon, there is a myelencephalon. Myelin, that means medulla. Okay, medulla. So mesencephalon, midbrain, metencephalon, midbrain, metencephalon, pons and myelencephalon. These three forms the brain stem. These three forms the brain stem. The main functions of brain stem are control the heart rate, breathing, blood pressure, reflexes. Okay, so these are the main functions performed by the brainstem. The structural detail I have discussed in my another video, specially based on the brainstem. Okay. Here the telencephalon and diencephalon, these two together form the prosencephalon. And this metencephalon and myelencephalon often form together the rhombencephalon. Okay, let's have a recap. First, at the gestation period, we had a brain like that, has a neural tube inside, and that continually is developing and form a swell up to form 5 vesicles. First, at the topmost part, that is the tail part of the brain, called the tail encephalon. Encephalon means brain. The suffix is same for all the name, but the main important part is the first part of the name, that is tail. Tail encephalon, the topmost, the tail part. It is mainly the cerebellum. Look at the developing stages. First, the telencephalon develops, swell up, fall up to form these two hemispheres, right hemispheres and long hemispheres. Right hemisphere and long hemispheres. The right hemispheres control the activity of the left side of the body, and left hemisphere control the activity of the right part of the body. Okay. Now there is a longitudinal fissure is there that divides the cerebrum into 2 hemispheres. Then at this diagram, the cerebrum is divided into the lobes. The first part that is the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is called the motor cortex. Frontal lobe is called the motor cortex. It's the higher integration of consciousness. All the consciousness of higher integrity level that comes from the frontal lobe. Then there is a parietal lobe. Parietal lobe, it is the sensory cortex. All the impulses, sensory impulses, come from the inner side and outer environment of the body that comes to the parietal lobe. Then there is a occipital lobe, is related to vision. Temporal lobe related to hear. And if we lift up the temporal lobe, there is another lobe that is insula, is related to taste. And the outermost layer, which is 1.5 meter in length, is called the cortex, is called cerebrocortex. Okay. So these are all about the telencephalon, cerebrum. Now there is a diencephalon. Di means 2. It has a 2 parts, thalamus and hypothalamus. From the side view, it looks like that. It is the thalamus. It is the relay center. It receives all the signals and think to which part it should give that signal. Below the thalamus, there is a hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the master regulator of the endocrine system and autonomous nervous system. Okay. Then after the diencephalon, there is a mesencephalon, is called the midbrain. And then there is a metencephalon. Metencephalon is divided into pons and cerebellum. Cerebellum is present at behind the cerebrum. It's related to balance and coordination of the body. And after the metencephalon, there is a myelencephalon, which is called the medulla. This mesencephalon, metencephalon, myelencephalon, these 3 form the brain stem. The main functions of brain stem are, it controls the heart rate, breathing, blood pressure and reflexes. Okay. And the telencephalon and diencephalon together, it forms the prosencephalon, and the metencephalon and myelencephalon together form the rhombencephalon. So these are all about the structure of brain. Thank you for watching. If my video helped you, then please give a like. We will meet very soon with new video, new topic. Till then, take care.